it mean to have excellence in your life? Well, come join us on Uplift today. We've got a special guest, Lee Smith, joining us from Nevada in the USA. Good afternoon, good evening, good Tag. Welcome to you, wherever you are joining us live or in replay around the world. Welcome to Uplift, uplifting conversations that set your heart on fire. My name is Sarah Wade, and I'm a transpersonal art therapist, a social media coach, a lover of life, and of course, co-host of today's show. Neil, welcome to you. It's great to have you here as always. Neil's joining us from the other side of the world, just like our guest.
Thank you, Sarah. I'm really excited to be back on the show and in Mexico is still in North America, but back home. 2 weeks ago, I was in Mexico with a woman that I affectionately call my daughter. She's not, but I call her because of the age difference. And I'm just super excited that we have Lee on the show today. I should say that I'm a life coach. I'm an author, and Lee just left.
That's okay. I'm sure that Lee will be reconnecting soon. So while she does, here she is again.
Sorry about that.
That's okay. Enjoy
in the background.
So Lee's joining us from Reno, Nevada, and she's an amazing human, a philanthropist, a speaker, a best-selling author, and I'd love to hear more about Lee from herself. So welcome, Lee Smith, everybody.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Neil. So great to be here with both of you and all of you who are watching live and on the replay. What a treat.
It's so good to see you. Now, we've been Facebook friends for a while. I've seen all sorts of things that you've been getting up to, and I'm so excited to have you join us. Now, unlike me and Neil, there are other people who haven't seen you. So I'd like you to sort of set the stage for us and tell us a little bit about who Lee Smith is today.
Yeah. Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Well, truth be told, I am living the dream, wait for it, of my 8-year-old inner self. Now, that's over 40 years ago. I know you can't tell by this youthful face that's projecting out to you right now. But yes, over 40 years ago, when I was 8 years old and I was a confident reader, and I loved reading aloud. I got started in reading early, and I would read aloud in the classroom. And I had a Bible school teacher who reached out to me and said, Lee, you're such an amazing reader. Would you read the scriptures at the next church service? And I said, yes. Ever get an opportunity and you just couldn't help yourself? Yes, you had to go for it. So I walked up to the ambo during the church service, and I pulled open the scriptures, and I'm reading them out loud in front of a congregation of over 300 people. What? Now, for anybody who has public speaking fears, you're going to freak out by that number. But see, that wasn't part of my vocabulary, so it wasn't part of my experience either. I just saw smiling faces. Now, as an adult, I know those smiling faces was because there was an adorable 8-year-old up there reading the scriptures. It wasn't that I was something super amazing or anything like that. And that was all fine and dandy looking back on the past of that. The magic for me that really happened, though, was when I walked away from the sanctuary and I felt like this little shiver go through my body. And I remember thinking, what is that feeling? And how do I get more of that? So from there, I became the little girl who would raise her hand to get to the front of the classroom so that I could share an idea. I just wanted to share an idea and see how it would land in the audience. And it wasn't about being the center of attention, because that's so not who I am. And it wasn't about being a know-it-all, because believe me, I didn't. And there were plenty of times I would shrink in my seat of, don't call on me on those days and moments that I didn't know the answer.
Let me guess, math class.
Actually, It was reading comprehension. I was pretty good with numbers, but reading, like I could read words aloud, but getting that comprehension, I struggled with, believe it or not. So yeah. And then when I was in high school, I was very involved with my youth ministry. So I spoke in front of 500 to 1,500 fellow teenagers, talking about teenage suicide, talking about abuse and the power of unconditional love and forgiveness, and how we teenagers are just so darn good at taking little molehills and blowing them up into mountains of impossibility. But they're not impossible. They are very possible. And being able to...
How can you say that teenagers making mountains out of molehills? No.
Doesn't seem right.
Sarcasm,
Sure?
exaggeration. Yes, I know. The drama of it all. Yes. And then I went on to college to pursue becoming a corporate motivational speaker, because I wanted to make a difference. I wanted to travel and I wanted to make good money. And I wanted to take that money, live on what I need, and put the rest aside so that eventually I could get married, and then I could become I could become a mother and then become a stay-at-home mom. And that was a dream of mine from when I was 14. Well, when you tell life, your source, the universe, God, your plans, it seems to have a wonderful sense of humor. Yeah. And that sense of humor came to me in the form of a massive car accident. I was in the hospital for 11 days. It took me over 3 months to heal. I even had to learn how to walk again. But
for those that are tuning in, when you get into an accident in the States, it can be very, very, very expensive.
Yes, indeed. Indeed. The payoff that came from it was because I had to sit still on the couch and heal, and I couldn't do anything besides read or watch TV. I had the late night infomercials, and lo and behold, Tony Robbins entered my life and his personal power. And so I got his tapes, and I remember thinking, who is this guy and what is he doing and how can I do what he is doing? And so fast forward,
you didn't want to say tapes. You didn't want to say CD tapes. No. I mean, cassette tapes. You were talking about MP3s. You're not that old, remember?
I do go way back. Secretly, I'm a time traveler.
Sorry to interrupt, but it was like, how do we keep the story going of your youthful? You can't use cassettes.
I know. I dropped these clues of truth that, yes, I've been around for a wee little bit. It's all good. It's all good. So, yes, fast forward, wanting to become this. Well, my whole life pivoted. My whole life did pivot after the car accident. I shifted from living on the east side of the country to the west side, where I've been here in Nevada now. I met my husband, clearly got married. In fact, next month we're celebrating 22 years. I'm so excited. And then we did have a daughter together. He had a son from his previous marriage, so I already had a bonus son. And then together we had a daughter, and I did get to be the stay-at-home mom. And so I stuck a pin in that dream of being a motivational keynote speaker for a while. And as my daughter approached the graduation years, I had a moment, and there is another story to this, but I'll save that for another day. I had a moment of like, what am I going to do? I've always envisioned and planned what the next set of years was going to look like. I didn't make any plans for when my daughter graduates, and now I'm an empty nester. What am I going to do with myself? I knew what I wasn't going to do, and that was going to get a job to go work for somebody else. And I thought, well, what can I do? What do I like doing? Because if it's not fun, it's not really worth doing.
Those are words to live by. Those are my
yes. And out of that, there was a depression that happened. And what came out of rising out of that depression and reclaiming my joy was the little laughter of my 8-year-old self. And she said, remember that feeling? Let's go chasing that. And I went, that's it. That's what I'm doing with myself. I am taking the pin out of that dream and I'm going to go fulfill it. And I have been doing this for 5 years now. I was blessed during the pandemic to be mentored by the Les Brown. If you don't know who he is the godfather of motivational speaking. And I was one of 100 out of thousands of students that he invited onto a series of virtual summits. So it's an honor. I have his voice memo where he's critiquing one of my presentations, and to hear Les Brown say, wow.
I love his messages, and I love his voice, though. I love his voice.
Yes, so fantastic. So now I have a message that I'm taking out into the world. And before you ask the next question, Sarah and Neil, I want to share this 30-second message with everybody about my mission. And that is, I am on a mission to transform the world. See, there are many reactors in the world. And the reactors are those people who are living by convenience and circumstance. And they're just going by whatever happens in life. They feel like life is happening to them, and they see themselves stuck in the middle of all the things. And they might get some goals accomplished, but there's no real clarity there. And what I want to do is help the reactors take themselves out of the middle of all the things. See themselves first. You have amazingness. And when you can see yourself first, you get clarity on what matters most to you. And then when you commit to the process of fulfilling those priorities, you begin to be the creator of the day, the week, the year, the life that you desire, living life on your terms. And Neil, I've seen you do this. I mean, all the fun that you got to have in Mexico. I'm like, look at Neil go. I think he's doing this retirement thing pretty well. I'm loving it. And, seeing that we're not meant to be walking zombies. We are not meant to react to whatever situation or pandemic or challenge comes at us. We are meant to take those challenges, embrace the difficulty of them, let them make us stronger, and let us come alive and become who we are meant to be. So I believe that you have so much within you. And when I can help you see that for yourself, you truly transform from the reactor into the creator. And this is all part of my purpose and mission in life. And that's why I'm so grateful to be here to share this with you, Sarah and Neil.
Thank you. Thank you.
Aww.
At one of my reiterations as a life coach, my wife and I, Tina, were actually working with women that were going through empty nest syndrome. So that you chose that you loved your husband enough, because this is crucial in many relationships, that some women roll over and they look at their husbands laying next to them and they're like, oh my God, who the hell is this person? And you may have done that, but you chose to go,
Yeah.
I want to stay with this man. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Oh yes. Yeah. My husband and I, we're like kids. We are like teenagers again. We've gone through some dark things, and it was not pretty. And there was a moment where I almost pulled the plug on the relationship, truth be known. Again, a story for another day, but super powerful. And when I made the decision, I said, I do till death do us part. And I do love this man. And it's very difficult right now when it was in that time, but I'm going to stick through it. And because I worked on me, not trying to change him, I worked on me. What am I bringing to this relationship? And that transformation happened inside of me. And then there was a byproduct of him transforming inside of him. And we're both better for it now. And we show such gratitude for each other, and we flirt and we laugh and we do all these things that didn't happen before that dark stuff happened. So I am super grateful. Wouldn't wish that journey on anybody else, because it was hard. It was so hard, but to be on this other side of it and have the marriage be 100 times better than it ever was before, I'm so blessed. So blessed. I have an amazing man, an amazing cheerleader, and he is the love of my life. And yeah, I'm just so excited to celebrate every day with him. And we thought, we both love our kids. And we thought, oh, we're just going to miss them so much during that empty nest time, aren't we? And we're like, no, this is pretty cool. I like this. We can do this.
I love that. Oh, we've got all sorts of comments coming in from all around the world, people celebrating you and saying hi and yay, because there was a lot of yay moments in that amazing story that you shared. Yeah. And I don't know about you, but I like to play Scrabble quite a bit. My mum and I have been playing Scrabble for a while. It's so much so that when I look at number plates, I play Scrabble with the number plates.
Right.
And I love that you brought out your Scrabble, and it was a really quite a simple yet effective rechanging of the letters, same as what we can do with our lives. So I absolutely loved that analogy.
Yes,
thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. Yeah.
And it's interesting because I have used it. I don't want to react to a situation. I want to respond to a situation.
Right.
You're taking and moving that C, and it's actually, I don't want to react. I want to be the creator. So yeah. I absolutely love that.
Thank you. Thank you. Exactly. That is such a useful tool. When things aren't going your way, if you can push yourself back, catch your breath before that reaction happens, right? And if a reaction happens, we're just human. We're not perfect. I have my moments too. But when you can catch your breath and say, yes, how do I want to respond? What opportunity do I want to create in this moment? And then create that next best move. So yes, such a wonderful tool to use day to day.
Nothing like a bit of reframing to get the ball moving in the right direction. So
Absolutely.
I don't know if you're struggling right now and maybe this was a message that you needed to hear, or perhaps it was a message that you know someone might need to hear. Feel free to copy that link and send them to them. Do it in private, respect their privacy, but they'll know you love them and we love you too. So thank you for joining us.
Absolutely. Yeah. So everybody's waiting politely. Who's going to break it? So, Lee, you're teaching people to have stage presence, and you invented this, or were gifted, or shown. You stubbed your toe and had an epiphany. I don't know, but you came up with and you shared with us this candy method.
Yes.
So could you share with us what this is?
Absolutely. This is the 5 pillars, or if you want to be punny with this, you can say it's the 5 pieces of the candy method. And it's an acronym for clarity, affirmation, necessity, discipline, you. And when you put those 5 pieces together, it allows you to step into your own power, to step into your own amazingness. Because ultimately, I believe you have what I call 3 G's. You have genius, gifts, and greatness within you. And genius is what comes easy to you. Like, you just don't even think about it. And people look at you like, how do you do that? And how do you do that? Make it look so easy or so graceful, whatever that happens to be. These are the things that you love learning about. And I remember being in 5th grade, I had this moment of being on the bus and thinking, schools are just, I think they're a lame idea, because schools try to make us all the same, and we're not all the same. Like, I'm pretty good with numbers, but my friend over here is really good at spelling. And my other friend over here can write stories like they were these amazing novels and fairy tales. And this person over here, she's such an amazing singer. And this person over here is such an amazing dancer. And that person, the things they can sketch and draw, all of these different talents that I call gifts, which is the 2nd G, but all of those things that they can learn easily and not even think about, and then to show others, oh, this is how you do it. And again, they make it seem so simple. And it's like, but wait a minute, I don't get it. Yeah. That's the genius. And we all have a genius. And same thing with gifts. This could be the way that we express ourselves. Maybe we're fashion designers. Maybe we are singers. We're musicians. We have athletic ability in the way that we can move our bodies, or even like dancers, the painters, all of these ways that we, again, express ourselves. It can be the way we express ourselves in relationships. I love holding space for people where they just feel welcomed and they feel accepted just as they are. There's no judgment. I'm like, wherever you are in your journey, let's celebrate that and let's honor that. Or I'm big on hugging, and that's kind of the challenge with the virtual world. I can't hug people, but when I get that opportunity to hug people, some people who receive hugs from me for the very first time, they're like, whoa, that was like one of the best hugs I ever received. And I just simply say, you're welcome, because I pour love into everybody. I have so much love pouring through me that I can't help myself but give it to others. And so that's part of my gift. And maybe your gift is the way you make somebody laugh, you make them smile, you make them feel good. It could be, like I said, in relationships or the way that we express ourselves. And the last part is greatness. And it's that whole essence of who we are, the way we carry ourselves, what we contribute to the world, the way we see life, and just, again, so much goodness, greatness poured into us. Now, pardon this prop demonstration, but almost everybody, I've looked up and researched the statistics on this, that 95% of the world, the entire global population, has some type of cell phone. If they have a working cell phone, what is attached to that phone? That would be a phone number, right? And no two numbers, even though it's a combinations of 0 through 9 digits, no two numbers are exactly alike. Over 95% of the 7 billion people on the planet. Pretty amazing, right? This is how the 3 G's work. You might see somebody who has a similar interest of genius as you, or somebody who, if you were a singer or a drawer, you may like find somebody who can sing and draw similar to you, but nobody has the greatness that you have. That's unique. And so this entire unique combination of the genius and the gifts and the greatness that you have to give to the world is unique to you across 7+ billion people around the planet. And when you can discover what those are for you, it becomes as fun as playing on your phone with that unique number that you have. And this is what I do with the candy method, is help you get that clarity of who are you? What is your message? Who is your audience? Because not everybody needs to hear your story, and your story is not for everybody, and that's okay. But who is in that audience? And with your affirmation, if you're nervous about public speaking, it's probably because you're not too certain about what you have to say, and you let your inner critic get the best of you. But your inner critic is not the only voice in your head. You have an empowering beast in there as well. And when you can help that beast grow, that lets you feel confident and unstoppable and ready to take on that stage or camera or whatever it happens to be, you're ready for that. So I help guide you in that direction. And the necessity is all about, we can't dream of doing this someday. Your time is right here, right now. The world needs your story, not just my story, not just Sarah's story, not just Neil's story. The world needs
No. That's it. That's all just my story. No one else's. Just
mine. The way that you can tell it, Neil. But we all have these amazing stories that we have lived and that we have fought through and overcome, and the lessons we get from that, or who we've become out of it. Maybe we were like, I was such a caterpillar and I was a very hungry caterpillar. And then when I transformed into this magnificent butterfly, look at me now, but what happened in that time in the cocoon, right? The transformation. And there's so much gift in that. And so then we move into the discipline where we have habits. We all have habits, because there's a wonderful quote out there that says, we don't get what we want in life. We get our habits. And so when we look at our habits, we have habits that serve us and allow us to achieve our goals and do what we want to do. And then we have habits that, the fears, it's that part of that brain trying to protect us and keep us safe in the comfort zone. And it's holding us back from the things we are meant to do and be. And so I work with you through those, because there are ways to either reframe them or replace those habits so that you can go on being strength and step out and shine in that. And the why is all about you really looking at those 3 G's and owning that amazingness, so that when you know who you are and you know your message and you know how much your audience matters, confidence becomes a natural byproduct. And this is what the candy method allows you to do, and so much more. So how delicious was that, Neil?
That was very good. I'm loving
Some
the
might say
method.
sweet.
Yeah.
What was that, Sarah?
I said some might say it was sweet.
Right?
And it's interesting you were talking about 7. I was with a person yesterday and they were in the victimhood. They were the pouty victimhood because they're a coach. And I just quickly Googled in 2021, there was 7.88 billion people. And I said, and on Facebook alone, there is 1.58 billion active accounts. So if you can't find your tribe within 1.5 billion people, you're not turning over enough stones. Your tribe is out there, and most likely your message is just muddled because you're speaking to everyone as opposed to speaking specifically to the one. And I love that the first part of the candy method is clarity.
Yes. Let's see things super clear and have that understanding, because what causes confusion? The not knowing. And this is why speakers will fumble through ums and uhs and so's. And you know what I'm saying? All of those different verbal fillers, because they're uncertain or they don't know what they're supposed to say next. But when they know their story and they know their subject matter so well, and they really believe what they say and what they are sharing, the verbal pauses, fillers don't happen, and it falls away, it fades away. And I tell the speakers out there who really struggle with those verbal fillers, I say, when you say it once in a while, it just means you're being human. When you are saying it every other word, then you do come across as maybe you don't really know what you're saying, or you're just so nervous and your audience is feeling pity for you, and you don't want that experience either. And that's where I use the candy method to help that, because again, when you know who you are and that message, and you can't wait, there's a passion behind it, and there's definitely a purpose behind it, that you have to get this message out of you out into the world, those verbal fillers just fade away and it becomes even more fun.
I don't know about you guys, but I've noticed that the more someone is confident in themselves, they're more comfortable in the silence.
Yes.
And those pauses. It's a beautiful thing to be able to witness someone on stage or in any kind of conversation where they're just owning it and you are hanging off every word and you are all comfortable in those silences.
Right.
I feel like those silences speak volumes, whereas the ums and the ers and the ahs kind of go the other way, don't they? Yeah,
they do. They do. So great.
So one thing that I noticed is, sorry, I'm interrupting you, Neil, but I feel like it's necessary to talk about, one thing, if we're not sure of ourselves and we're not sure, maybe we're not so confident in what we know, what we know is our normal, and how can I be special? How can I be unique? I don't have anything to say. Me making these sculptures and, spending 100 hours of my time doing this, that's just what everybody does. Or me doing this thing and just creating something out of nowhere as I bake, or whatever our talents are. When we step up and own ourselves and really identify that as being our unique flavor, or how you put it in the candy method, it's a beautiful thing. Not only for yourself, but others around you. And again, that lifts the confidence in the room and that vibe. Absolutely. Was that where you were going, Neil?
I was going with the fourth letter. I absolutely love, and so many creative people dislike the word and they back away and they get their fangs and their claws out and they say that I'm not allowing the flow, because many people don't like the word discipline.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And can he is not a word, so I couldn't do habits in there. And I thought, oh, what's another word for habits that works really well? And I thought, well, habit is a form of discipline, right? And we can discipline functionally or dysfunctionally. And that's where habits either help serve us or they hold us back. And I thought, yeah, candy works a lot better. And if we can use things like fear and discipline in a healthy, functioning, positive way, I thought that I want to be a mover and shaker in that direction. So thank you for pointing that out, Neil.
Because there are many habits that we have as disciplines. Brushing your teeth.
Right.
Drinking, for many people, drink more water. Get into the habit of drinking more water.
Yes.
That's a discipline that I need to embrace more because I love my coffee.
I do too, just not this late at night.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I thank you for sharing with our audience, the listening right now, those that are listening to it on replay, or that are catching it on the podcast. Thank you. I'm loving it. Can you just really quickly go over what the acronym stands for again? Just what each of the pieces were?
Absolutely. So thankfully I have 5 fingers and that's all that I need. So we have C is clarity. A is affirmation, your positive, empowering self-talk. N is necessity. What are the necessary steps that are going to get me from where I am right now to where I want to be? What's that stage that you want to be on? D is discipline, those habits that help you get to where you want to be better and faster. And the Y is all about you and your amazingness, your genius, your gifts, and your greatness that you have to give to the world. Put it all together and you have candy.
Thank you. And I'm going to tell you selfishly why I wanted to do it, because I need to cut that out so that we can just put that as a clip by itself. That was me being the producer in the background already. It's like, oh, that will work.
I love it.
And that's one of those things that Neil does so well. It just comes so naturally for him, picking those things.
Part of
edify you.
Yeah. Love it. Love
so,
it.
Would you like to take an opportunity to share what this is about?
Absolutely. This is one of those times where I got to share a message on stage and I love it. I'm like, oh, making the point here and having it take impact upon the audience. And I thought, what a better way to show the challenge that I provide, and challenge as in a fun thing to come together and do, not as in something hard and difficult. It is called the Own Your Stage with Confidence 5-Day Challenge. And hey, it works because then we have the 5 pieces of the candy and you get to have a taste, if you will, of each of the pieces and what it would look like to work with me. And would it be a good fit or not so much a good fit? That's okay. It's a way to explore together. And you can see how these pieces come into play for you, especially if you are an entrepreneur or a coach who wants to use speaking to grow your business. Because this is the fastest way to position your credibility, position your authority, position yourself as an expert in what you do, and gaining that visibility. This is a stage right now that Neil and Sarah have provided for me to share this message so that you out there who I might not get to reach otherwise can hear this message. And if it's something that is making a difference either in your ears or in your heart, and you're thinking, oh, I want to use that reactor creator mindset change. What will that do for me? If I wanted to learn more about the candy, could I contact Lee and connect with her about that? Or I do want to use speaking, but holy smokes, I can speak to one person, but you put me in front of a group. I really back away from that. Lee, how do I get help with this? The Own Your Stage with Confidence 5-Day Challenge will give you that opportunity to check that out. I promise you, you will boost your confidence. I tend to put you on a scale. I don't put you on the scale. I give you a scale of 1 to 10. You put yourself on the scale. You might be a 2. You might be a 5. You might be a 7. I rarely get a 9, but that does happen on occasion. I might get a seasoned speaker who just wants to hear what my method is like. And I promise you, you will boost at least 1 level, typically 2. And what that does for you empowers you to say, I can do the next thing. If I want to go and interview on Neil and Sarah's stage, I can do that. I can make that happen, or whatever other stage opportunity there is out there. If you're an executive leader and you have a team and you get all nervous just standing up in front of your team to do a presentation, this confidence will help boost you so that you can do that with the authority that you have as a leader, as well as you should. So this is a fun way in a group setting. It's a safe space. There's no shame. There's no guilt. We're not going to sit there and count your ums and your ahs. Don't worry about that. We're going to help you find these different elements inside of you so that you too can stand in your power. And then when you have that next stage opportunity, then you know you can go out there and shine.
And I love that. Thank you for sharing that with us. And I'm just going to jump on. We are always looking for speakers. So if you are a speaker and if you've gone through Lee's training, jump on, go to podcast.uplift.show and fill out the speaker and form, and we'll have a quick 10-minute I will set up a call with you, do a 10-minute, are you a right fit for you? Are you not? Is your message clear? Is it concise? Are we the right platform for you? And we will see. So thank you for the wonderful segue.
Yeah, my pleasure, Neil.
So I'm curious because I did some research recently that showed 75% of people have got a fear of speaking from stage. Yeah. So it sounds likely that, you provide both the 25 and the 75. And I'm curious, what sort of percentage of people are going to be in with you in that next challenge? Is it more like the 75 or the 25?
That's a great question. And I love that they have made a wonderful, funny joke out of this, that most people would rather be in a casket than giving the eulogy at a funeral. So, because the statistics say that, yes, 75% of the population would rather face death than an audience. And I first heard that when I was a junior in high school. So I'd already been speaking all these years. And I thought, what? How could people possibly be afraid of public speaking? This is the funnest thing ever. And then I remember thinking, oh, wait a minute, I'm the weird one. Okay. Oh, wait a minute, I have a gift. I need to take this out into the world. And for me, it was that feeling, that calling of the entire world. And I want you to know that just because I have that calling for myself, I don't make that about you. If your world is, how do I communicate better with my family? If your world is, I'm part of a board, how do I get my voice heard? If your world is, I have political ambitions and I want to serve my state, my province, my nation. How do I do that effectively, Lee? Or if you are like myself, and I've got a burning message inside of me. It's got to go out to everyone possible. Fantastic. Whatever your definition of the world is, that's where you're called to be, and that's okay. And I completely lost my train of thought in sharing that because I got all passionate about that. Sarah, could you repeat the question, please? Oh, the fear. Oh, how do I deal with the 75-25? I probably get a lot of 25%ers, people who have done some public speaking and they're still trying to, well, a lot of them are trying to overcome those verbal fillers first and foremost, or they're thinking, how do I organize my thoughts? Because I don't want to get up on stage and then start rambling like I just did, start rambling and lose my place. And now what is the audience going to think of me? Or I have such a fear of judgment, of rejection. Isn't everybody judging me? I mean, Neil just said there's 1.5 billion people on Facebook. What if all 1.5 billion are looking at me and listening to me right now and thinking, that is one strange, interesting person up there? I'm not here for those
Crap,
people.
I don't have my hair done right.
Right, there's that too. I am here for the people who do need to hear my message, who are here to resonate with me. So when I find somebody who has they're dealing with that fear, they might be part of that 75%. Not so much that they're so scared they're not going to do any public speaking. They have that interest. They're thinking, okay, I'm breaking the ice a little bit, but there's still a lot of fears there. Lee, can you help me? So I work with, I say, the over of the Venn diagram that covers both the 25 and the 75%. And if they're willing to be coachable, if they're willing to create that change within themselves so that they can get their message out, because they recognize how important it is that that story, that message gets told to the world, again, however they define that world, then that's where I want to help them and meet them right where they are, and then take them right where they want to go.
Wonderful.
Beautiful. Hey, one of the things that I've noticed is when I'm helping people make reels, is they go from that, I'm just starting out as a coach, or I've been in the coaching scene for a while, I've got an ebook, I'm comfortable writing my posts. What do you mean you want me to get on camera and film lives and you can do reels, and what if people judge me, or what if my mum sees it and I say something really embarrassing, or there's all those what ifs that come up.
Yes.
So being that we have you on Uplift today, I'm curious to know, what advice would you give to somebody who is struggling with some of those fear of being seen fears, Lee?
Yeah, absolutely. Can you give me 2 seconds, or not even 2 seconds, to step away real quick? I have another prop to show you, believe it or not.
More props? This is brilliant. We got elevator music and a prop.
I've always, now you've heard me share my story, a lot of confidence in me, right? And you could throw me on a stage. I even did this with Toastmasters International. Give me no preparation. Give me a subject or a question, a prompt, if you will. Tell me how much time I have, and I can run with it. And I tend to rock the stage. The very first time I had to pull one of these out, I pulled this out too. It started like this. That was my very first Facebook video, because I needed the mask to keep me safe. So I started off, my first Facebook Live was done around Halloween time, and I thought, I'm putting on the pumpkin because I'm just not ready to be seen. You can throw me on a stage in front of 1,000 people, and I was fine. On a camera, how did I make that so different? It's that affirmation, the A part of the candy, the stories we are telling ourselves. And so many of those stories are so untrue. And so then it was realizing I'm still alive. I am still alive right there. I think I have a pulse here, guys. I'm still here. Breath is here. Words are coming out. Yes, we're good. And I realized this didn't kill me. Oh, okay. And you know what? My comments, they weren't filled with hate. Hey, Lee, I really liked that message. Hey, Lee, really great to see you. Hey, Lee, I know you fumbled through that, but that was pretty good. I liked what you had to share. And I even put myself on, it was even 8 months later. I'll be fully transparent with you about this, because I was like, what? I put myself through a 31-day challenge on Instagram and Facebook at the same time. And I would do a 3 to 10 minute message on whatever I felt inspired to share that day. And then when I would go back and listen, I had every ending of a sentence with, and every beginning of the next sentence with, and so. And I thought, who wants to listen to this? But I had a following of anywhere from 30 to 130 people checking in on the video and the message. And not a single one person called me out on it. But I noticed it for myself. And I said, oh, we have to fix this, because I was new on the video. And when we are doing something new, if any of you have ever had a job, and if you can remember those first couple of weeks on the job, how awkward and clunky were you, because you weren't sure of what the rhythm of the work was. What are your specific tasks? Maybe you're learning a new skill. It wasn't something you did just like that, was it? And that's how it is when we're entering, looking at the camera, the red light or the green light. I have to look at myself as I'm doing this. What? I don't like the way that I look or sound. Let me love on you. If that's the case, let me love on you, and you borrow the belief that I see in you, because I will see it. That's my superpower, is to see the best and the amazingness inside of you. Allow me to do that. Hold that safe space for you until you can start to see yourself. And when you can see yourself and go, oh, it's not that bad. Or if you were like me, those first 30 days, it was the 20 days, I did catch myself and start to peel that back. If you find yourself doing those verbal fillers, or if you have a tic, there are some people that I can't purposefully do it. As they're talking, it's like, oh, stop it. Just stop making that annoying sound, or whatever it happens to be. And there was even when you're on an in-person stage and they just keep rocking back and forth, and that's all they can do because it's part of their nervousness. These are the things that I can help you break through. And as I like to say with the verbal fillers, take those uhs and the ums, and I help transform you into amazing speaker. So it can be done. If you're nervous, it's part of your human journey. There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken. You're still amazing. And if you allow me to build that relationship with you and show you your amazingness, we can turn you into that phenomenal speaker.
Wonderful. Thank you. And I was the key. I had to clean my pockets out with anything that jingled, because I was the guy that would always touch his pockets. And when you're mic'd up, it would be like jingle, jingle, jingle. And it's like, because it was a nervous tick when I was first time on the stage. And then thank goodness I had still have a wonderful caring wife. And she would, just before I would go on stage, it was like, gum, why don't you gum? But it was like, give me everything in your pockets. And I'm like, it was like my security blanket.
Sure.
So you're living your life, that lifelong fear of being naked on stage by having those things out of your pockets, those things that you felt normal with. Was that then part of like your growth on stage, was to not have those things in your pockets, those things you relied on, or was there something else that you did there, Neil?
No, it was just, I'm so used to having things in my pocket, and nervously I was playing with it. So once I didn't have them, I was forced into being present with my audience. And it was like, it forced me, like there was nothing else I could do that would be considered in good taste that I could do for a nervous habit. So I was like, okay, I just need to be here and present. So It was all good, and it has turned out good. And now I just empty my pockets. And a couple of times I found myself coming off of stage and going, hey, shit, I got things in my pocket.
Who knew?
Oh, Sarah.
Oh, Neil.
Do you know anything about this?
Nah, it must be some other lady. You don't know what you're talking about. Okay, really, I do know. Really is a challenge that I started last year, and had an amazing effect on not only myself as my confidence grew, facilitating a new thing, but also everybody who came and spent time with me. They were really shy, really nervous, and then suddenly them creating the most amazing reels and sharing their stories that got so much love and so much response. Some of them went viral by their terms, some of them went viral by like social media terms, and it made the most amazing, impactful difference in their life. And I'm really proud to say that I'm coming full back circle. I'm going to do another challenge of really from the 10th to the 15th of April next month. If you would like to come and join me to get some social media tips and really improve your presence on stage and on camera, you know who to contact, right? We'll spend like an hour a day over 5 days having lots of fun, and it'll be a combination of the really important things that you need to know, like editing and where you need to be on the camera wise, but also those behind the scenes things that people don't actually see that really will help your confidence. So if you want to join me, reach out. You know how to find me. And I reckon that, I don't know, maybe Neil's got some kind of journal that he might like to be talking about too.
Just maybe. As part of my journey, as I've been a life coach for 20 years, but I have not been a very diligent journaler. I have historically been very pathetic at it, even though I know and recognize the power of gratitude journey. I know. So for me, I built this for me to help me really embrace writing out a journal. So I am inviting you. It's free. It's a 30-day gratitude journal. And I'm inviting you to get the PDF, print it off, and when you're done, print it off again the next month. You're not noticing a theme here. Print it off the next month after that. Pretty soon you got 12 months of gratitude journals.
And then you stop, right? Like 12 and you're done. You're like, boom, I've done my
That's
gratitude. Yeah.
No. And it's back to the discipline, because once you engage yourself in the discipline of it, it becomes easy and it becomes part of your routine, whether it's in the evening, in the morning, whatever time you want to take part in your discipline. So yeah, go to gratitude.neilthrussell.com. Yeah, I'm excited.
I'm wondering if by taking part on this or any other forms of gratitude, if you're going from reactor to creator at all.
Absolutely. I don't see how you can't. Yeah. I was astonished that writing one thing just 5 days a week that you're grateful for will boost your happiness by 20%. Just one. And I thought, oh, I've been in a practice of writing 5 things every day. No wonder I feel as happy as I do. And happy people are successful. But even if all you do is write one thing across 5 days, it'll 20%. Could you use a 20% increase in your happiness? And you just keep compounding it, like Neil was saying, day over day, month over month, year over year. Yeah, you'll notice these amazing things in life. Once you start looking for that good, you'll find the great. And if you can find the great within you, all the more.
Absolutely. I'm cognizant of time. So we have time for a short story, but then we're going to run out of time. So I'm like just being very cognizant. So what's the next step for you, Lee? What is version 2. Or 3.0 of you, or 4. or 5. of Lee Smith look like?
Wow, that is quite the question. I have how much time now, Neil? I'm kidding. I think when I look at opportunities to deepen the work within myself, because I've done a lot of deep work, when I realized that I didn't want to work for somebody else. I wanted to be an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur of what? And first I created a networking service business and learned relatively quickly that it wasn't something that I could sustain. And I thought, well, what else do I love? I love speaking. Can I be a paid speaker? And then entering that, and as I was stretching myself in speaking, realizing I need to have something to offer, to pitch, if you will, to give somebody an opportunity, if they like what I'm saying, to work with me on that area. And I thought, wow, okay. And initially it was in mindset and productivity. And then I learned that my market didn't want that from me. They wanted to be able to show up on stage the way they see me showing up on stage. And I thought, what is it that you see that I don't see? And I thought, how am I doing something so different? But if that's what is working for you, then let's play with that. Let's see what happens. So that So that's what I've been doing for the past year now. And so now to take that to a next level, the things I've learned from Les Brown, as I observe other mentors that I appreciate and admire, like Tony Robbins and Mel Robbins and Marie Forleo. I love Marie and her personality. And so when I look at the people that I really admire, and Brendon Burchard, I've been a part of his community since 2015. And I remember just thinking, gosh, he's so engaging with a 2,000 person audience. This is so cool. And I know that Tony does it with 10 and 25,000 people. And I have this vision of myself being on stage, and I don't know quite where it is. I can hear the people giving the standing ovation, smiles on their faces, knowing the impact is there. And the lights are so bright, I can't see beyond the first 2 rows. And I can smell the excitement and the energy that's there. And I'm just filled with, I'm doing what I'm meant to do. And then just in the front row, I can see my husband and my daughter smiling up at me. And I can just see my husband thinking, that's my wife. She just did that. And my daughter, that's my mom. She just did that. And I'm just thinking, I'm changing lives. This isn't about me. It's about if they take that reactor creator tool or whatever I'm teaching in that moment, if they just put this into action, their lives will be so much better. And knowing there's such a ripple effect of that, I think when I'm able to bring the imagination part into the reality and fuse that experience together, because it's so crystal clear in my mind. So I know it's already happened. I just need to meet that moment where it happens. And when that happens, I think that will be a higher level of excellence of myself, because I keep wanting to push myself to that higher standard. What more can I bring that will bring the wow, that will wake people up and say, oh, there's more to life than what I'm just doing, and help them to come alive. And so when I can do that, and to be able to do it in collaborations like this, with Sarah and Neil, what you bring to this platform, the Uplift show, does it get better than that? And the impact we are creating, we're not doing it as individuals, we're doing it in collaboration. It's so powerful. And having that, and we're just continuously raising the standards to help more and more and more people come alive. That's where we're really making the difference. So where I can keep optimizing that standard. And if you've read my content or you hear my podcast, I do say no excuses, only excellence. If you have a dream, you have the resources within you and around you to make that dream a reality. And you have a responsibility to bring those genius and gifts and greatness to the world. And when we can do that, that's when we get to make the world a better place. And that's truly what I want for all of us.
Oh, I'm making the world a better place, word by word here. Lee Smith, give it up for you. Excellent. Appreciating you right now. Mr. Neil Thrussell.
I'm just, thank you. And it's time to wind this up, and I wind this out. And whatever you do in this world, know that you are loved, and go out, find the love, share the love, and more importantly, be the love, because you never know the impact that you will have on someone. Just be love. And with that, know that you're loved. And I leave it with Sarah to take us home.
Oh, I don't know about you guys, but I'm having all sorts of hair-raising moments. I'm feeling so much love and care from everybody on the screen. It's a thing of beauty. So thank you so very much to everybody joining us, whether they be live or in replay. Know that we really appreciate you, and that we trust that you got some benefit from this. I want to add really quickly to something that Lee was saying, not just about having a dream, but I hope you heard in her sharing, she could see the people in the different parts of the stage area. In using all the different senses was involved in part of that dream. So if you've got a dream and you're not quite sure how it's going to land, I don't know, but maybe it might be a good idea just to think about those little things and really design the life you desire, because you're worth it. Until we speak next time, I trust that you, like me, will be out there creating uplifting conversations. We'll see you in a fortnight. Take care.
Take care.